Good morning, Miss Sarah's class. Welcome to school today. We made it through the entire school year. Isn't that so exciting? This is our last video class. This is your last class of the school year. If you have any questions or anything, please reach out and let me know. You can start from the beginning of this video series and go all the way through them to keep your mind fresh in the things that we've learned. All right, and remember, write every day. Do some writing, do some counting every day. Practice your colors and your shapes, all of that kind of stuff. And read every day with your family. Read a book a day or more. You know, if you can read with your families for like 15 minutes a day, that's it, 15 minutes a day, it makes such a big difference in your learning. All right, so let's get ready for class by singing the song that helps our minds and bodies get ready. Sing with me. Eyes are watching, ears are listening, mouth is closed, body still and quiet, you should really try it. Listen well, listen well. All right, now that our minds and bodies are ready, we are going to do science. Isn't it exciting? Science is the study of new things. It's learning things that are new. Now, this activity is something that you can do at your home. I encourage you to do it. You could do it in the bathtub. It's called sink or float. Pick some items around your house and see if they will sink into the water. That means go to the bottom of this little container or the bottom of your bathtub or the little tub of water that you have, maybe your little swimming pool, whatever it is. First, you stop and think, will this item sink or it will float? And then you see if you're right. So Miss Sarah looked around her house for some things that I thought that would be different and fun to try. I got my son's old, this is so old, my friends, this is older than some of you. This yak or cow, whatever it is, bull toy to do. I got a bottle of empty water. So this is just an empty container. I got a container full of water. Excuse me, my friends, and Sarah's got allergies. I have a fork. I have a paper airplane. A piece of paper that I just smushed into a ball. And a piece of paper that I folded. Now I made this chart over here. I don't know if you can see it really well because it looks like there's a glare on it from here. But this side says sink, and it's got a picture of a ball that floated to the bottom of the water. This is the water, and then the words float. And you can see that this little ball is floating on top of the water. So we're going to see if these items will sink or float, and then we're going to chart them. That means we're going to put them on the side that it matches. So if the fork will sink or float, we'll put it on whichever side. All right, are you ready? Let's try the empty water bottle. Do you think the empty water bottle will sink to the bottom or float on top? Shout it out. All right. Remember what you said, and let's see if you're right. 1, 2, 3, drop. If you said it would float, you were correct. So the empty water bottle floats. The empty bottle floats. So we will put it on the float side. Let me draw a picture here of a bottle. It doesn't have to be a really good bottle. We know what it is, right? All right, so we know that the empty bottle floats. Do you know why? Because the empty bottle is full. Do you know what it's full of? It's full of air. Air is trapped inside of this bottle. This bottle is really not empty. There's air inside. So when I put the top on it, the air fills it up and it floats. Have you ever had a floaty on your arms when you're in a swimming pool? Those floaties are filled up with air. A family member blew them up. And with the air that's trapped inside, it helps it float. Isn't science amazing? Now, let's get the water bottle that is full of water. You can see that there's water inside. Stop and think. Do you think it will sink or do you think it will float? Shout it out. All right, remember what you thought and let's see if you're correct. Oh, it sunk. Actually, some of it is floating because there's a little bit of air trapped inside. But if there was no air trapped inside, it would not have floated, my friends. Do you see? See how it is different? If I put this one in. So, the water bottle with the water in it sinks. So, full bottle we'll put on the sink side. I will draw a picture. And like I said, Miss Sara is no artist. My sister is. I'll put some stuff in there to look like water. Miss Sara's not the artist. All right, now let's try the fork. What do you think? Do you think this fork will sink to the bottom or float on top? Make a guess and shout it out. All right, remember what you said. 1, 2, 3, drop. Oh, the fork is so heavy. It went all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom of the pan. See, it can't go any further. So the fork sinks. So we will put that on the sink side. A fork. And again, when you make a chart, this is called charting. You're charting. You're sorting out what will sink and what will float. So I'm going to draw a little fork, and like I said, Miss Sara is no artist. And we wrote fork there. Okay, on the sink side. What about Isaiah's little bowl here? Do you think the bowl will sink or float? Miss Sara's going to give you a hint. We talked about how this bottle is full of full of air, so that's why it floated to the top. This is not a toy that's hollow inside. This toy is full of something that makes it heavy. So I don't know if it will sink or float. What do you think? You got it? Shout it out. Very good. Remember what it is. Let's drop it. 1, 2, 3, drop. Oh, the bull sunk to the bottom of the water. So there was no air inside of him to help him float. He was just a heavy little bull there. All right, now we're getting to the paper. Now I used 3 kinds of, it's the same kind of paper, but I put the paper in different shapes to see if it would make a difference. Let's see if it does. First, we're gonna start with this. This is just a piece of paper that I balled up into a ball, squished it up, and now I'm gonna see if it floats or sinks. What do you think? All right, keep that thought in your mind. Shout it out. All right, remember what you said. Let's see if it sinks or floats. 1, 2, 3, drop. The paper floats. It floats to the top. All right, I'm gonna leave it in there to see what happens, just because I'm very curious, because it's paper. Have you ever gotten paper wet? Yeah, sometimes it gets weird. It breaks down. So I'm interested to see what happens. All right, so now we're going to try the paper airplane. Do you think the airplane will sink or float? Stop and think and shout it out. Okay, you ready? Set, drop. So the paper airplane floats. And so does the paper ball floats. What about this little piece of paper? I just tried folding it into any shape. You can do that too. You can take a piece of paper and try to fold it into many different shapes to see if it changes and if it is different. Right? So let's see here. Do you think that the piece of paper that's folded into like a little box type thing will sink or float? Stop and think. Now shout it out. All right, remember what you guessed. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, drop. Again, it is floating. It is floating, but take a look, my friends, at what's happening to the other pieces of paper. Do you see them changing? So the ball is changing shape. And if you notice, it's going further and further under. Do you see the airplane? It also changed shape. So right now they float. But we're going to do another science experiment after I write this down. So when we first put the paper airplane in, this is going to be our paper airplane, okay? Our paper airplane floated. Our scrunched up little ball also floated. Our little box piece of paper also floated. So when we look at our board, maybe, the bottle full of water, because it was full and there was very little space of air inside, it floated. The fork had no air inside neither. It was just solid. And it sunk. The full bottle sunk and the fork sunk. And also our little cow here, let me make him here. He's a happy cow, guys. He kind of looks like a pig, but we're not going to talk about that, okay? We gave him some crazy horns there. That is the creepiest little thing, but you know what I meant, all right? The bull, he also sunk because there was no air inside. So when air is trapped inside of something, it will float. All right, that was so much fun. I strongly encourage my friends to do the sink or float science experiment at home with your family. Search around your house and look for different things. All right. We are going to read a book. After we read our book, we're going to double check and re-look at our paper, okay? And we're going to check and see if the ball, the airplane, and the box looks the same or if it looks different. If it still floats or if it has sunk. I don't know. We're going to have to see. What do you think is going to happen? Shout it out. All right. Remember it and see if you're right when we go back to them. All right, in Miss Sarah's videos, we've been talking a lot about same and different and how different is okay, right? There are things in common that we all have and we are the same. Like we have 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, and 2 ears. That is the same. And then we've also talked about something that is different. Our eye color is different, our hair color is different, and our skin color is different. And that is okay. So we're going to read this book about to be a kid. And it talks about different kids all around the world and things that are the same and things that are different. So let's look at the lives of kids all over the world to see what is the same about it and what is different. This is called to be a kid. To be a kid. The author and illustrator is Maya Ajamera and John Ivanico. So they took the pictures in this book. These pictures are real kids from around the world. Isn't that so interesting? There's a channel called PBS Kids that has a lot of learning on there, and they are the people that helped make this book. This is the picture of our planet. There are kids all over our planet. This is different areas all over the world, and all over the world on different parts of the planet, kids live just like you. We live over here. All right, you ready? To be a kid means being carried by those who you love. Look at all these different families from all around the world. They have different skin color. They have different hair color. They look different, but they're all being carried by a family member. Have you ever been carried by your family member like the kids are being carried in these pictures? That is the same. It is the same that they are carried, but in the pictures we all look different. And different is okay. Different actually is beautiful. And spending time with your family. Do you spend time with your family? Look at all the different ways, the different cultures, which means different parts of the world, families, spend time with their families. They may look different. The places where they live may look different. The way they dress may be different. But it's the same that they want to be with their family and the family that loves them. To be a kid means going to school and learning lots of new things. Look at how different these school classrooms look. Look at how different the children look. It is different how this classroom is all sitting on the floor. This classroom is all sitting at one big table. This classroom is two at a table, but it's the same that they all go to school. To be a kid means walking home together. Some of you don't walk home, do you? In different parts of the world, they don't have access to cars, so they don't ride buses like we have buses. So they have to walk to school. Having a cool snack on a hot summer day, or marching in a parade. You see how it looks different, but yet it's the same thing that they're doing? To be a kid means playing ball. This is interesting. Look at the different games of ball that they play around the world. Here, they're hitting the ball with a bat, like baseball. In this picture, they are sitting in a circle and passing the ball. We've done that in our class. And in this picture, they're playing catch. They're throwing the ball. It looks different because it's different areas, but it is the same. They're all playing ball. Running race, kids run races and kids go skating. Riding on a merry-go-round or playing a board game. To be a kid means painting beautiful pictures or sharing the joy of music. Look at all the different ways they are painting. And the different ways of playing music. And sometimes you like different music. Sometimes you like music with instruments. Sometimes you like music with singing. Everybody is different. Kids love dancing their heart out. Look at all the different kinds of dance. All the different outfits and costumes for dancing. How interesting. How beautiful. To be kind means to care for animals. Look at all the different ways that children care for animals. Being a kid means goofing off and just being silly. Look at, he dressed up in mud. He got all dirty, hanging upside down. Just being silly goose and having fun like we would with our dance parties. To be a kid means making friends that last forever. Look at all the different children. They all look so different. But they all are friends and they have friends. To have a friend is an important thing. That is the end of our story. All right, isn't that so interesting? All the different ways families look all over around the world, the way kids look. They looked different, but they did so many things that were the same. Isn't that fun? All right, my friends, I love you so very much. I hope you had fun in our class today, and I almost forgot to check on our science experiment before ending this video. Oh my goodness. Look at what happened. Oh, I got a hair on me. Sorry, friends. Okay. If I hold it up, you see, wait, let me turn it around here. It's not letting me turn. Let me do this. The ball is starting to sink. You see the condition of the paper is changing. All of the air that's inside the paper is breaking down and filling up with water. Now, because this ball was all crumpled up, there was less surface area, which means there wasn't a wide space. Do you see how the piece of paper that laid flat, the box that had the most square, the biggest square, is floating the most? And because the airplane and the ball was squished up or made smaller, there was less space, so they are starting to sink because they're filling up with water quicker. The chemical in the paper is changing. Isn't that interesting? Try this activity at home. See how long it takes for it to sink to the bottom. Or maybe it won't. Will it sink or will it float? I don't know. You'll have to experiment and see what happens. All right, my friends, I hope you had fun. I will miss you so very much. I love you. This is our last class. And you have a wonderful, beautiful summer. If you need anything, let Miss Sara know. If you need learning activities, if you need some more books, whatever it is, I would love to come visit you and drop it off. All right, I love you guys so much. You have a wonderful week and a beautiful summer. Bye, guys. Keep learning.